They thought I was gone, forgotten, erased from the family story. But ghosts have a way of returning when you least expect them. And this time I wasn't back for forgiveness, I was back for reckoning. The doors swing open, and I step into the grand ballroom dress shoes, clicking against polyhead marble. Crystal chandeliers dangle above, casting golden reflections over silk-draped tables. Polyhead silverware gleams under dimmed lights, and champagne flutes clink in delicate toasts. Wealth screams from every corner, loud and unapologetic. The weight of their betrayal echoed in every corner of the room. But he stood tall. Every step he took was measured, every word planned with precision. My sleek, black tailored suit hugs my frame, a second skin, every curve a weapon, neatly styled short hair. I'm not the man they remember. I'm Ethan Davis, 34, and tonight I'm a storm walking into their perfect little world. The air shifts as I move forward, heads turn, some curious, some hostile, all dripping with the arrogance of money. Behind each fake smile, Ethan saw the cracks they tried to hide. His silence wasn't surrender. It was the calm before the storm. I let my gaze sweep the room, slow, deliberate, tasting the tension. 16 years ago, they threw me out like trash, a stain they scrubbed from their pristine lives. My mother's Patrick thought I'd fade into nothing. My father's Richard assumed I'd break. My sister Lucas laughed as the door slammed shut. Every step he took was measured, every word planned with precision. And as they laughed, they never noticed the reckoning walking through the door. They thought I'd vanish, a ghost erased from their story. But his, I am uninvited, untouchable, and they don't know what I've built. They don't know I'm about to burn their world down. I spot them near the center, a tableau of privilege. Patrick stands rigid, his manicured nails walleting a champagne glass, cold as ever. His silence wasn't surrender. It was the calm before the storm. The weight of their betrayal echoed in every corner of the room, but he stood tall. Richard pretends to laugh at some guest's joke, but his jaw twitches. He sees me even if he won't admit it. And Lucas, the golden child, glows in his designer suit, arm looped through his fiancé marks. He's the bride, the star, the one they always chose. Good. Let his shine. It'll make the fall so much sweeter. And as they laughed, they never noticed the reckoning walking through the door. Behind each fake smile, Ethan saw the cracks they tried to hide. The murmurs start a ripple through the crowd. Someone whispers my name, Ethan Davis, like it's a curse. Patrick's head snaps up, his eyes locking onto me, and the contempt is instant, unmistakable. What is that useless man doing his these? Loud enough to carry. Lucas crosses his arms, lips curling into a smirk. The weight of their betrayal echoed in every corner of the room. But he stood tall. Every step he took was measured, every word planned with precision. That same smug twist I've hated since we were kids. "You're not on the guest list," he says, voice sharp, dripping with disdain. The guests lean in, sensing blood, their polyhead masks slipping just enough to reveal the hunger for scandal. Mark, though he's different. He steps forward, brow furrowed, then stops dead. His eyes widen, his face pales, and his voice cracks, broken. Behind each fake smile, Ethan saw the cracks they tried to hide. His silence wasn't surrender. It was the calm before the storm. Wait, this man is... He doesn't finish. He can't. I smile, slow and deliberate, letting the silence stretch. The room holds its breath, and I feel it. The power, the weight of their ignorance. They don't know who I am now. They don't know what's coming. And that makes this Dodden delicious. The memory hits like a fist, sharp and cold. And as they laughed, they never noticed the reckoning walking through the door. I'm 18 again, standing on their doorstep, breath fogging in the night air. The chill seeps into my bones, every exhale a jagged ache. My fingers are numb, walleting a duffel with everything I own. 1728 in my pocket. Not even enough for a bus ticket. Above me the house looms, warm light spilling from the windows, but the door is shut locked tight. Richard stands in the frame, arms crossed, his face unreadable, a wall of indifference. Patrick doesn't even look at me. He's inside, his voice cutting through the wood like a blade. A waste of time, a waste of money, he says. Each word a nail in the coffin of my existence. We've done enough for you. Lucas is this too, leaning against the banister, smirking, like it's a game he's already won. Bye, Ethan. He mouths, silent, gleeful. Then the door slams, the sound echoing in my skull. Final. I don't move, not at first. My breath hangs in the air, visible, fragile. I wait for what? For them to change their minds, for a crack in their armor. Nothing comes, just the cold, the dark, and the echo of their last command. Figure it out. My Fathis's voice clipped, dismissive. Figure it out. They didn't just abandon me that night. They erased me, wiped me from their perfect picture like I'd never existed. I turn away, the gravel crunching under my sneakers, each step heavier than the last. The street stretches ahead, empty, endless. No money, no safety net, just the clothes on my back and their words ringing in my ears. I'm alone, truly alone. And the ache isn't just the cold, it's the severing, the realization that I'm nothing to them. But even then, shivering in the dark, I feel it. A spark buried deep. They think I'm broken. They're wrong. That night, I don't know how, but I swear it. I'll figure it out. And one day, I'll make them pay. Back in the ballroom, the golden light feels sharper now, like it's cutting through their lies. Mark's still frozen, his unfinished question hanging in the air. This man is... I tilt my head, meeting his wide eyes, and murmur, "Do you really not know anything?" My voice is soft, deliberate, a blade wrapped in silk. His throat bobs as he swallows hard, and I see it, doubt flickering behind his polyhead exterior. Lucas steps forward, his smirk faltering just for a second before he recovers. "You're not supposed to be his," he snaps loud enough to draw every eye in the room. His tone's a whip meant to sting, to remind me of my place. The guests lean closer, champagne forgotten, their whispers buzzing like flies. They smell blood, and I'm the one holding the knife. I don't flinch. I don't cower. I smile, letting it spread, slow and dangerous. "That's funny," I say, tilting my head, because I distinctly remember receiving an invitation. It's a lie, but it lands like a punch. Lucas's nostrils flare, and Patrick shifts his champagne glass, trembling slightly. Richard's still pretending I'm invisible, but his jaw's tight, betraying him. Mark staring at me now, confusion twisting into something heavier. Recognition, maybe fear. "Ethan," he says, barely a whisper, like he's testing the name. I step closer. Dress shoes clicking sharp against the marble, closing the distance. "Do you really not know anything?" I repeat, softer this time, watching his panic bloom. This is a beat of silence, then another, and the wedding, perfect, pristine, starts to crack at the seams. The crowd's hooked now, their murmurs rising, a tide of scandal lapping at the edges of the room. They expect me to beg, to gravel for their acceptance like the man they threw away. They don't see it yet. The man I've become, sharpened by years, patient as a predator. Lucas's glare burns. Patrick's contempt simmers. But I stand tall, untouchable. This isn't their story anymore. It's mine, and I'm just getting started. The ballroom hums with tension, a live wire ready to snap. Lucas's words still hang in the air. His smug, "You're not supposed to be his," lingering like a challenge. I feel their eyes, Patrick's glare slicing through me, Richard's twitching jaw betraying his feigned calm, Lucas's smirk daring me to break. They think they've won before I've even started, but they're wrong. I'm not alone anymore. And that's the first crack in their armor. A familiar warmth brews my side. James steps forward. My husband, his tailored navy suit sharp against the golden haze of the room. His hand rests on the small of my back, subtle but solid a claim they can't ignore. Is this a problem he asks, his voice polite but firm, cutting through the buzz of whispers. The crowd stills heads, tilting, sensing the shift. Lucas scoffs, rolling his eyes. Who the hell are you? He snaps, his tone dripping with condescension, as if he's some stray I dragged in off the street. James doesn't blink. Ethan's husband, he says, calm, unyielding. The words drop like a guillotine, severing their smug certainty. Silence crays over the room, heavy, suffocating. Lucas's fingers twitch, his smirk faltering. Patrick inhales sharply, his champagne glass trembling in his grip. Richard's head jerks up, finally meeting my gaze, and I see it. Panic flickering behind his polyhead mask. They wanted me gone, forgotten, a shadow they could bury. Instead, I came back with armor, with James my strength, my proof. I'm not the helpless man they discarded. I let the Dayton stretch, savoring their unease. They're realizing it now, piece by piece. I'm not just his to haunt them. I'm his to dismantle them. James's presence is my first move. A quiet declaration that I've built something they can't touch. Lucas recovers, forcing a laugh, but it's brittle hollow. Husband, he says, glancing at Mark, who's still pale silent. What did you pay him to show up? I smile, slow and sharp. No need, I murmur. He chose me. The air thickens, and I feel the power shift tilting in my favor. This is just the beginning. The memory pulls me back sharp as a blade. I'm 18, shivering in the alley behind a diner, the cold biting through my thin jacket. Heat from the kitchen vents curls around me, a lifeline against the night. I've got nowhere to go, no one to call, just 1728, and the echo of their dismissal ringing in my ears. Figure it out, Richard said. And I'm trying, curled up near the dumpsters, invisible to the world they thrive in. 3 days later, the owner catches me. Rita, sharp-eyed and gruff, doesn't call the cops. He tosses me a broom instead, his voice rough but steady. If you're going to loiter, make yourself useful. I grab it, hands trembling, and sweep like my life depends on it, because it does. That's my first break, a crack of light in the dark. By the end of the week, he lets me crash on an old cot in the storage room, the smell of grease and coffee clinging to the air. By the end of the month, he's paying me under the table. A few crumpled bills I hoard like gold. I've got a plan. Even then, a spark igniting beneath the weight of their rejection. I don't stay small. I work, I save, I study. Every cent, every hour, a brick in the wall. I'm building. At 22, I earn a scholarship to a business program, clawing my way out of that diner with nothing but grit. At 23, I'm interning at a startup, learning the game, watching the players. By 29, I've got my own company, a medical nutrition brand, lean and fierce, disrupting an industry they'd never understand. It's not luck, it's strategy. Years of watching, listening, collecting. While Lucas flaunted his golden child status, while Patrick and Richard basked in their illusion of perfection, I was rising silent and unstoppable. They never knew, never cared to look. In their minds, I disappeared that night, a burden lifted, a stain scrubbed clean, but I didn't vanish. I sharpened. Every milestone, every dollar was a promise to myself. I'd become something they couldn't ignore, something they'd fear. Standing his now in this glittering ballroom, I feel the weight of those years, the strength I forged from their neglect. They thought they broke me, but they built me instead. And tonight, they'll see just how high I've climbed. The ballroom pulses with anticipation. The guests whispers a low hum beneath Lucas's fading bravado. He's still clinging to his smirk, but it's fraying, and I'm ready to rip it apart. "Seriously, Ethan," he says, rolling his eyes. "You expect us to believe you or some success story, please? You couldn't even make it through college." His voice is loud, performative, meant to shame me, to remind everyone I'm the failure they cast out. The crowd leans in, eager for my collapse. I don't flinch. I reach into my wallet, pulling out a single heat of paper neatly folded. "Is that what they told you?" I say, unfolding it with deliberate care, my voice calm, calculated. I hold it up just enough for the closest guests to glimpse. Lucas's academic record stark in black and white. "You never finished school, Lucas. You flunked out before you could even apply for residency." The room stills a collective intake of breath. His nostrils flare. His smirk freezes, then cracks just for a fraction of a second before he recovers. That's not he starts, but I cut his off, stepping closer. Dress shoes clicking sharp against the marble. "Oh, but it is," I say. "Soft, lethal. 3 years ago, you failed. No degree, no career, just lies." Mark turns to his brow furrowing, something dangerously close to betrayal in his eyes. "Lucas, what is this?" he asks, voice quiet, controlled. He spins to him, defensive, his face twisting. "It's fake," he hisses, voice rising. "He's lying. You know he's always been jealous of me." I tilt my head, feigning curiosity. Jealous of what exactly, I murmur, watching the blood drain from his face. The guests are riveted now, sensing the shift, the crack in his perfect facade. Mark snatches the paper from my hand, his fingers trembling as he scans it. His jaw tightens, realization settling like a storm. "You told me you were a doctor," he says, low, accusing. Lucas grabs his arm, desperation creeping in. "Mark, he's twisting things. You know how he is." "Do I?" He snaps, pulling away. The air thickens heavy with his unraveling. I watch calm, steady as his crown slips. The golden child exposed a fraud in a designer suit. He's gaslighted me for years, turned every truth into a weapon against me. But now, it's my turn. The truth cuts deeper than his lies ever could. And I'm the one holding the blade. This isn't just a reveal. It's a reckoning. And they're all about to feel it. Lucas is crumbling, but I'm not done. The ballroom's golden glow feels brittle now, like glass about to shatter. Mark's still walleting the paper, his breathing ragged, while Lucas stammers, grasping at his lies. I shift my gaze to Patrick and Richard, their faces a gallery of unease. His cold scrutiny searching for flaws, his forced calm cracking at the edges. They think they're safe, untouchable behind their wealth and status. They're wrong. I step forward, voice low, steady. "If we're talking about ruined lives," I say, flashing Patrick a sharp smile, "why don't we discuss the financial fraud case building against the Davis family clinic?" Silence slams into the room. Complete, utter silence. Patrick's champagne glass tilts, a single drop spilling onto his hand. Richard's head snaps up, his eyes narrowing. "What are you talking about?" he says, quieter now, the arrogance leaching out of him. I arch a brow, mocking disappointment. "Oh, you didn't think I knew?" I shake my head, letting the words sink in. "Embezzlement, insurance fraud, falsified patient records, all those little details you thought would stay buried?" I lean in, voice dropping so only he can hear. "You should have been more careful, Dad. The IRS knows." His face goes white, a ghost of the man who threw me out. Patrick gasps, a rare break in his composure, his nails digging into his glass. I straighten, turning to the crowd, my tone light, conversational. "Funny thing about secrets, they don't stay secret forever. The guests murmur scandalized, their polyhead masks slipping. Lucas is still frozen Mark's betrayal, hardening into something colder. But it's Richard who snaps. "This is nonsense," he says, stepping forward, clinging to his authority. "You've got nothing." I chuckle a real genuine sound and pull a sleek black USB drive from my wallet. Nothing, I amuse, twirling it between my fingers, except, 16 years worth of evidence. Lucas's breath catches, Patrick stiffens, and Richard's confidence cracks wide open. Bank statements. I continue watching their eyes widen. Emails, legal documents tying your precious clinic to multiple counts of fraud. I lift the drive slightly, letting it catch the light. Shall I go on? The shift is palpable. A predator's trap springing shut. They thought they'd won all those years ago. Thought I'd disappear without a trace. But I didn't. I watched. I waited, collecting every shred they left behind. I've held this ammunition for years, not out of spite, but because they taught me patience, taught me to sharpen my blades in silence. Now standing his, I see the panic setting in. Lucas gripping his flute too tight. Patrick shifting uncomfortably, Richard's hands clenching at his sides. They finally know I'm not the man they threw away. I'm the reckoning they never saw coming. And this is just the beginning of their end. The ballroom's golden light dims, swallowed by the chaos I've unleashed. Lucas's lies are exposed, his academic record a dagger in Mark's trembling hands. But the USB drive in my fingers holds the real fire. Richard's voice still echoes. His desperate, "You've got nothing," a hollow shield against what's coming. I step forward, twirling the drive, its sleek black surface glinting like a promise. The crowd watches breathless as the tension coils tighter, a spring about to snap. "Go ahead, I say you." Mark, my voice cool, steady. "Plug it in. See for yourself." He hesitates, his eyes darting between me and Lucas, who's rigid now, his knuckles white around his champagne flute. He knows deep down, he already knows. But doubt is a cruel thing, and I'm his to make it undeniable. With a sharp breath, he strides to the DJ booth, yanking the laptop from behind the sound system. Lucas lunges, his voice a shrill plea. "Mark, stop." He shrieks, clawing at his arm, but it's too late. He jams the drive in the screen, flickering to life. The room holds its breath as he scrolls, his face hardening with every line. Bank statements, emails, proof of the clinic's fraud. Lucas's falsified credentials. His shoulders heave. His hands ball into fists. "You lied to me," he says, cold final, the words slicing through the air. Lucas flinches, stumbling back. "No, I didn't." He stammers, but he rips away from his touch, his fury boiling over. "You lied to me." He booms loud enough to freeze the entire ballroom. Guests drop their polite facades, staring openly, scandalized gasps rippling through the crowd. I watch calm, steady, as Lucas falls apart in real time. His designer suit can't hide the face pale with defeat down his face, his perfect world cracking under the weight of truth. Mark's breathing is ragged, his trust shattering with every scroll. "You're not a doctor," he spits pure venom in his voice. "You're nothing." He hurls the laptop aside, the crash echoing like a gunshot, and storms toward the exit, leaving his sobbing in his wake. Patrick steps forward, his voice clipped. "Mark, listen." But Richard cuts his off, snarling, "Shut the hell up." For the first time, the patriarch freezes, his control slipping through his fingers. This isn't chaos, it's precision. 16 years in the making. Their lies are ash now. And I'm the flame burning steady, relentless. The guests murmur, the air thick with their downfall. But I'm not done. Not yet. I've sprung the trap, and they're caught writhing in the wreckage of their arrogance. The USB was just the spark. The inferno's still coming. The ballroom erupts, a symphony of whispers and gasps. But I stand still, savoring the wreckage. Mark's gone, his ring glinting on the floor as he hurled it. A discarded relic of Lucas's lies. He's on his knees now, sobbing his makeup a smeared mask of defeat. Richard's face is a hen Patrick's rigid, and I feel the weight of their stares. Fear finally was contempt once lived. I'm not the man they threw out anymore, and they know it. I turn to the crowd, my gaze landing on a well-dressed older man near the back. Dr. Harrison, the hospital director, was Lucas claimed he worked. Dr. Harrison, I call out casual, deliberate. He stiffens his polyhead demeanor, cracking as eyes swivel to him. You might be interested to know, I continue voice light, that one of your so-called medical professionals is a high school dropout with no qualifications. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Guests connecting the dots. Dr. Harrison's face reens his glare, cutting to Richard. You told me he had his degree. He snaps, his voice tight with betrayal. Richard stammers, sweat beading on his brow. We can fix this. It's not, but I interrupt, stepping closer. Not fraud, not a felony. I say, arching a brow. He opens his mouth, desperate now, and shouts, He's not my son. The room falls silent, a stunned pause. Even I'm caught off guard. Then I smile, slow and sharp. That's an interesting statement, I say, considering you've been using my identity for tax fraud for the past decade. Dead silence. Richard blanches, Patrick's composure shatters, and I drop the final bomb. That's right. I add, my tone smooth. I checked my identity recently. Someone's been filing fraudulent tax returns, laundering money through the clinic using my social security number. Dr. Harrison snaps his fingers at his assistant. Call the legal department now. He growls, his career teetering on the edge. Richard tries to speak, but Dr. Harrison cuts him off. Your career is over, he says. Final damning. Security moves in the crowd, buzzing with chaos, but I stand firm, watching their world collapse. Lucas wails, Patrick silent, and Richard's a hell of the man he was. They thought they'd won 16 years ago, but now they're nothing. Exposed, broken mind to destroy. This is justice, and I've never felt stronger. The ballroom dissolves into chaos, security weaving through the crowd, guests inching away from the Davis family like frauds contagious. Lucas is still on the floor, his designer suit crumpled, his sobs, a pitiful soundtrack to their ruin. Richard tries to bark orders, but his voice is lost in the din, and Patrick stands frozen, his cold mask shattered. I should walk away, should be satisfied, but I linger, drinking in the sight. For years I dreamed of this, of standing tall as their world burned. Lucas looks up, eyes wide, desperate. Ethan, please. He begs, his voice trembling, reaching for me. I let his plea hang, savoring the reversal. He, the golden child, begging me. Then I tilt my head, voice cool-cutting. Please, I echo. I don't remember you saying that when you stole everything from me. When you smirked as they threw me out. Tears slip down his cheeks, but I don't waver. You didn't care. I finish sharp, final. And neither do I. Richard snaps out of his shock, his face twisted with rage. You think you're better than us now? He hisses, clinging to his ego like a lifeline. I laugh, a real freeing sound, and meet his gaze dead on. I don't have to think it. I say, grinning, I know it. His jaw tightens, but he's got nothing left. Security closes in. Dr. Harrison's already on the phone with the IRS, and the guests turn away, abandoning the sinking ship. I turn my back, stepping over Mark's discarded ring. Its glint, a footnote in their ruin. James waits by the doors, his dark eyes steady, his fingers brushing mine, a quiet anchor. We step outside, the night crisp, the city humming beyond their wreckage. He glances at me, brow raised. So he draws. Cake. I blink, then laugh deep and uninhibited. Yes, I say, still grinning. Let's get some cake. Tonight's not about them, it's about me, and I'm finally completely free.